The Lodge, the Grand Dame perched on a mountaintop in Cloudcroft, New Mexico.
All right, start your salad, Liz.
A beacon of history where Pancho Villa, Conrad Hilton, Judy Garland, and Clark Gable etched their names in the annals of Southwest hospitality.
Getting all fluttery.
The historic hotel and restaurant has changed hands many times over the decades, and a year has passed since it shed the ghost of Rebecca's restaurant.
I'm going to throw this in the stock pot.
Executive Chef Richard Lepree has taken the reins at this staple of the Sacramento mountains.
And Chef came in and taught me everything that I know.
The British American is attempting to transform the restaurant from a tired, bland shell of its glory days into a fine dining destination worthy of a road trip.
You've been a chef for like 30 years? 34? Yeah, so he knows so much about food.
While the tables, decor, and famous bar haven't changed much, Lepree has reinvigorated the kitchen with a renewed focus to serve fresh fine dining. He and his team of young chefs dusted off the cobwebs, discarded gallons of grease, and chunked the mostly frozen fare from the old eatery. And Rebecca's Place is $18.99 at the Lodge, where ahi ceviche, prime New York strips, South Arctic salmon, backstrap of elk, mussels, and ranchero pork shoulder are just some of the items on the seasonal menu.
I'm one of 6, so my mum did a lot of home cooking. Single mum with 6 kids. I was the oldest, so I had to help, and I loved it. I loved the end result is what it was. It actually tastes good. I did something good.
Chef Lepree was born in America, but grew up in Oxford, England. He did a stint in the British military before setting his sights on the culinary arts.
I joined the British Army.
I had problems adjusting to civilian ways of life and all that, so my mum suggested going into the culinary business and becoming a chef because it's so regimented and it's so lax now in a lot of ways. But back then, the chef was God. It was like you barely ever got to speak to the guy.
He passed through world-renowned kitchens with Michelin chefs, spent time on the competitive English pub circuit, and worked from Arizona to Key West, Florida, before he and his wife settled in Cloudcroft.
Bringing that kind of knowledge and experience here and working with, thousands and thousands of chefs over my lifetime. And you take a little bit from everybody you work with. Even my sous chef did something about 3 months ago that just shocked me, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I was born and raised in Cloudcroft, so I've kind of, only known green chili or Texas kind of food. No, it's definitely been an adventure working with him, and all of his knowledge and culinary expertise, the atmosphere, the cleanliness, how it's laid out has just drastically changed, and in a great way.
When we kind of went on this journey with the Lodge, what I wanted to do was to bring a certain type of food here that was dead fresh, prepared from scratch, and during the season, locally sourced as much as we can, because there is nowhere like that around here.
Few people like change, and that was apparent in the immediate aftermath of the restaurant's rebranding. Some locals cried foul, but Rebecca had run her course. Like the ghost, the old fare was often frozen and colorless.
A lot of frozen items, yeah, like pre-cooked prime ribs, which I've never actually seen before. I didn't even know that existed.
This butcher's block was over there, and it was just black and oily on top and gross, and it had stock pots full of oil on it too, and it was pretty gnarly in here.
Here it was just a hectic mess. There was oil everywhere, pots and pans everywhere. It was just a mess. I wasn't really learning anything, you know what I mean?
On my first day, I went down to the fridges and I gutted them and threw everything out on the back dock on the parking lot back there. I didn't want to start that way, I wanted to start from scratch.
It takes time to turn a restaurant around, especially with a specter tugging on your chef jacket, but Lepree has made a go of it, and the results speak for themselves. While not always timely, the dishes that emerge from the ever-evolving kitchen shuck the bygone and leave patrons reveling in the present.
The bar and the dining room are kind of fighting for space on the line, which is a great problem to have, right? This will be just fine dining, and then we'll create another line here, so we could pump bar food out and pump dining room out as well at the same time. It's a time factor too. People expect a bit more care and attention to their food, so with that said, it takes more time, but they don't want the time. When you're on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere, where are you going?
You can only get yelled at so much, right? But yeah.
about some kind of a leafy thing. We have some parsley in there.
Instead of cooks, the team working under him are now chefs, and they treat each other as such, putting their minds together to create and experiment until a dish is worthy of the dining room.
Okay, well, get the oven at temp and let's get them in. This group in here right now I've had since the day I started here, and that's rare, especially for up here. We started treating each other like chefs, and you're no longer here to just put stuff together. You know, you're here to create and, you know, take every component. I mean, just think of a tomato, right? What can you do with a tomato? You know, you can change the format of it. You know, whereas a cook will just take a tomato, chop it and throw it in a salad. The chef will break it down in a different way, use a certain part of it, puree it, strain it, take out the essence of it, you know, make a ketchup, like we make our own ketchup here. You know, this is probably the first menu that we've done where everybody has had an input into everything.
A special group of Cloudcroft locals was invited to experience the latest dinner menu. While they bask in the dining room's afternoon sun, behind the scenes, Lepree and his platoon of culinarians toil in the kitchen.
Like I said, it's like a very chaotic dance back here. The way we move around and it's loud.
Ahi is sliced, aioli is drizzled, salads are mixed, and meat is braised.
So right here, this is the pineapple. We kind of, you know, sear it in the pan a bit, and this goes on our shrimp salad.
I've also got our pasta going on right now for our new mussel dish. This is an ancho chili handmade pasta. We make all of our pasta in-house.
We use really good beef. We use certified Angus, so it's like really high quality.
You are only judged by what you put on a plate. There ain't nothing else you're judged on. When you're a chef, that's it.
Right, so what we want to know is what you think, right? Taste it. If you think something needs to change, more seasoning, more this, more that, or stronger, or not as strong.
Us at our best is doing food that we love the most. You know, when you're trying to do food to appease a certain magazine or whatever, I don't think you're really operating at your best when you're a chef, you know. You're not putting your soul into it. It's totally different than just going to, let's go get a burger or get some ribs or something like that. So it's an opportunity for people to have something that is made from scratch. And we're lucky we have the opportunity to do that, you know, because we're not a corporate. We don't have some dude who's been cooking for 3 years in some office saying, this is your menu for this year. Where we want to go, you know, we were chasing stars. You know, delusions of grandeur when it comes to some things, the reality of where we are, what we are. And, you know, I'd like to see a bigger bar area, you know. I love it when I come out and the bar's just packed with locals. That makes me really happy. Obviously, my sous chef running the reins, I would love to hand it down to her. Young girl, 25, sorry. I would love to have maybe some plaques on the wall to say, yep, we're actually acknowledged for trying hard. Coming to the lodge, you know, after years of cooking, and this is it, this is my last. I'm not doing any more cooking after this, you know, which is kind of a nice feeling as a chef. I'm settling in. I'm not interested in, you know, somebody says, I got this restaurant in Albuquerque. Yeah, I'll do this for you. I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
You've done that.
I've done it. That's like quite amazing, isn't it? I almost want to put that on the plate.
The industry of fine dining or, you know, luxury boutique type hotels, you know, they're dying off. You know, there's not many of them around. So when you have one in your neighborhood, you should exploit it as much as you can.
You know, hopefully we hit the button that keeps everybody happy on the other side of the wall, you know, and that's the hard part.